Alright guys, welcome to Mud Rogue. I'm a little buzzed. I'm three beers in. I'm drinking Pacifico today. I don't have sponsors. I just like to show what I'm drinking. We are going to discuss why in a recent Twitter poll, 77% of the respondents said that they would rather have Putin be the leader of their nation. I think there's a lot of people around the planet who would rather have Putin. So we're going to get into that. Also going to discuss the economic situation and I guess as it relates to leadership. So let's just get into the video. I'm going to have quite a few uploads this weekend. I hope I don't swamp you too much with videos, but there are subjects I want to touch on, and so you're going to get more than one video this weekend like you normally do. So I hope you enjoy this one. Let's go. All right, so let's take a look at this this Twitter poll that was put up. In a poll of 65,959 people, 77.5% said that they would prefer President Putin as leader over Biden, Sunak, and Trudeau. Putin becomes democratically elected world leader. British politician David Curtin conducted a poll on Twitter about Biden's preferred leader. About Britain's preferred leader. The results are, to put it bluntly, unexpected. Unexpected? Why do people around the world love Putin? Why? As I talked in my previous video, people know Putin is corrupt. He's corrupt. He has gotten filthy rich leading Russia into prosperity, right? Putin was in the KGB. And so a lot of people would say, oh, Putin has probably killed some people. Killed them. Personally. Probably with his bare hands. And probably more than one or two. Probably a few dozen. All right? He's a tough, mean mofo. So why do people like him? Because despite all his flaws, he's honest. I know, I just said he's corrupt and he's killed people. He's gotten rich as being Russian president. Putin loves his people. Putin loves Russia. His goal is to make Russia great again, to return Russia to its days of grandeur, for the people in Russia to have prosperity, happiness, long life, for their children, likewise, to enjoy the same prosperity in life. Putin is proud of his nation. Putin has said, Russia is for Russians. Putin doesn't open the doors wide open in Russia and allow foreign immigration, allegedly invaders, to come in and just tear down the Russian culture. People want that. People around the world, especially after what is happening in Europe, they wish they had a leader that would have protected their nation, would have protected their culture, their language, their tradition, their religion. That didn't happen in Europe. Europe has been overrun by, I hate to say it, I won't say it because YouTube might get mad, but has been overrun by people who are much different than the original native population. I have a video, it's over on Odyssey somewhere, where I lift up the concept of tribalism. Tribalism is seen as a bad thing. Oh, tribalism is a white supremacist, racist concept. No. There's nothing wrong with an Ethiopian woman with beautiful dark skin to want generation after generation to resemble and to reflect her ethnicity, specific ethnicity, not diluted. Her specific ethnicity, tradition, language, religion, culture. There's nothing wrong with tribalism. The different tribes can get along and do get along. It is this forced integration. It is this forced destructions of our native cultures that people around the world are going, we wish we had someone like Putin that would have protected French identity, would have protected British identity, German identity, Finnish, Norwegian, Scottish, whatnot. So many of these European nations are lost. They're being overrun. Who they were is being destroyed. And these people ever so wish that they would have had a Putin to lead them. Corrupt. Get rich off the system, Putin? Yeah. Because you know what? Like I said in my previous video earlier today, don't think that the Western leaders aren't corrupt. Don't think that our Western leaders have not gotten filthy rich getting to their position of power. The only difference is they forgot about the people. They do not give a crap about we, the people. They continue to get richer and richer and richer as they destroy our nations and drive us, we, the citizens of those nations, into poverty. And then we have this story from the Wall Street Journal, mainstream media. Europe poorer, U.S. richer as wage gap widens. On that headline, doesn't mean that the people are richer. The United States is a richer nation, but the wage gap is widening, meaning that the prosperous people, the rich people, supervisors, the owner of your company, those people who already have money are pulling away, are getting richer every day, while we, the workers, are getting poorer and poorer. In the last 2 years, the cost of living went up 12.7%. Do you think, how many people do you think got a 12.7% raise? That actually would not even be a raise. A 12.7% raise would keep you above water, would keep you from drowning in the economic turmoil we're going through. But as the U.S. gets richer and the pay gap widens, people in America are getting poorer and poorer. Oh yeah, though some companies go, we're going to give you a 5% raise. 5%? You know what 5% is? 5% is bending you over and giving it to you in the backside. That's what that is. But what choice do we have but to smile and say thank you? Because it's better than nothing. I don't know. I'm just really disappointed in so many things. Europe poor. Europeans are contending with the new economic reality, becoming poor. Wall Street Journal correspondent Tom Fairless explains the factors that led to the continent's economic stagnation. What is going on here is multiplied in Europe. Things are getting bad over there. And again, a lot of this has to do with, I think part of this, to be honest, is by design, that our government leaders in the West do want us poor. They make us poorer, they make us more dependent on them, and then thus they make us more controllable. I mean, if the companies and the nations are getting, in the United, they're getting richer and richer and richer. They pretty much just lie to you. They lie to you that they don't have the funds to bring us up to a living standard. They give us wage augmentants, I guess raises that aren't real raises. They're not. They don't even meet the cost of living. But you bet your butt that they're selling their end product at a cost of living increase. They're just not passing that along to we the common folk. Oh, and you wonder why people would rather have Putin as their world leader than any other Western leader. Why? Because even though Putin is be an a-hole, even though he has enriched himself because of his position of power, he has not forgotten the people. He has brought up the people with him. You know what? I don't care if we have an American president that stuffs his pockets. If you're going to share that prosperity, go for it. Consider that a tip. Consider that a bonus for the good work you did in enriching the American people. But we don't get presidents like that. Right? All right, on this one, this is from the Mail Online. It doesn't specify what nation they're talking about. I can only presume that allegedly they're speaking about Britain. Food inflation soars with household favorites, almost tripling in price in two years as millions struggle to feed their family, report finds. Millions struggle to feed their families. I'm going to tell you, the things I'm telling you are true. They're real. Do you think most people in America know that there are people, I'm presuming in Europe, and I'm presuming in Britain, that are struggling to feed their family? Not poor people, but everyday working people. You want to know? There's people here in the United States that I know for where I work. I have to tell you the truth. Who are struggling to feed their families. Now, I should share with you my Henry Ford story. I tell this to people sometimes. It's a little off, and maybe I got the name wrong. Maybe it wasn't even Henry Ford. But the way I know it is Henry Ford was a greedy mofo. Henry Ford wanted to be rich. Henry Ford wanted to be really rich. And he realized that the way to get rich was not to abuse his worker, not to squeeze the living breath out of his workers for every last bit of work he can get out of them. He realized that the best way for him to become richer and the best way for him to get the most out of his workers was to be good to his workers. Henry Ford thus implemented the 40-hour work week. His workers now had time to have a life, to enjoy their family, their children, trips. He paid them a decent salary. He paid them a salary on which they could build a future, on which they could buy a home. They could buy one of the cars that they were building themselves. They could put food on the table for their families. They could take trips. They could save up and send their children to college, right? And it wasn't a huge salary, but it was enough of a salary. And by being good to his workers, Henry Ford got the most out of his workers. He got workers that loved going to work, who worked hard, who had invested interest in seeing the company prosper. By being good to his worker, he became a super rich mofo. He didn't become that rich by abusing them, by underpaying them, by giving them less than cost of living, by insulting them and bending them over and fucking them in the backside. All right? He got the best out of them by being good to them. This is a mistake that world leaders around the nation, went from the top down to the corporate leaders, are making. They are squeezing the living. We're like an orange. They squeeze all the juice out of us. And then they take us, the husk, and they just toss it in the trash. And they go for the next orange. And they squeeze the living life out of that one. And they toss it also. Again, this is why people like Putin. Despite his flaws, he loves his people. And he has brought them along the road of prosperity. And that is something we're missing in the West. That is something that our leaders, be it in government or business, don't understand. No, there's beyond not understanding. They don't care. It doesn't even get to the point of not understanding. To not understand would be to at least care, and then maybe not understand the situation. They don't care to even know or be concerned about the situation in which they put we the people in. Again, there is just so much to talk. There's a lot to talk about. It's not all in this video, and part of what I do is not actually high detail. Again, I got critics who for some reason want to either slightly or heavily attack the show. Again, beer drinking channel. I like to keep things enjoyable, easy to listen to, easy to watch. I skim the surface of information. If you want depths, you want more detail, highly recommend the Duran, the two Alexes. They also have their own show. I recommend the New Atlas. I recommend the Jimmy Dore show. Russell Brand is good. Jackson Hinkle, Ira Gray. I believe he got kicked off of YouTube. Sorry, Mike. I don't know Mike personally. That's just his first name. You can find him over on Telegram. Again, there are channels that get in depth and give you that nerdy information that some of you want. I just try to skim over the top of a lot of these things. I think I add more emotion and everyday man type of opinion to the things I say. Sometimes it feels like what I'm telling you, I take it personal because I do take it personal. I take it personal, the travesty being committed upon the people of the planet by these lizards that run it. Cheers.